Hello. So for this week, there were two shows that I watched specifically with this assignment in mind. The first was old episodes of America's Next Top Model. I don't know what season, maybe 13 or 14, but it's when they have the petite models on. And the messages that I got from that were not blatantly negative, but just I noticed that they really reinforced gender stereotypes. Like, obviously, the models had to be thin, and the makeover episode was the second episode in that season. So they were kind of putting a ton of emphasis on how the girls looked, how they carried themselves. They kept trying to control how sexual the girls were in their photo shoot when everything that they did was inherently sexual due to the clothing or lack thereof, the makeup. And then they were judged really harshly at panel, including how they looked coming to panel to be judged. So it was just a lot of reinforcement of the harmful stereotypes that women face every day, but magnified because these girls are on TV. And young girls who are really impressionable are watching this and going, oh, well, my hair's not good enough, my clothes aren't good enough. Like, trying to fit into this world that is A, made for TV and just for entertainment, and B, completely unrealistic to real life. Like 1% of the population can be models, or from what we deem models can be. So it was just really reinforcing a lot of the very strict gender roles that we put on young girls and young women for appearance and how they should act. The other show that I watched was Schitt's Creek. If you have never seen it, do yourself a favor and watch it. It's phenomenal. That show, just loosely, is about a family who is absurdly rich. They lose everything. The one asset that they don't lose is a town that they own called Schitt's Creek, so they have to go and stay there. It is like a country, like what they would assume is like a backwards town. Like, they don't live at all the same way that these people were used to living. And the great thing about that show is that it doesn't portray the small town folk as small town folk. Instead, it really points out just how wrong and unknowing the rich family was. That they don't know how to relate to them, that their expectations for life are really unrealistic, and that they're like shocked by the way that other people live, but they really grow and change throughout the show. It's phenomenal. But a lot of the messages in that one, like I said, were about the socialization, re-socializing these people to be normal, I guess, to how the rest of the world lives. It has a lot to say about class, because the show is trying to point out that the themes of life, which are friendship, loving each other, cooperation, those exist regardless of what you own. So, if anything, I think the show is really positive in how it portrays, the rich, the middle class, the working folk versus the people who've never worked a day in their lives. So that was really interesting. The other thing in that show is that there's a homosexual character, and they don't. So that I don't see a ton of gender roles in that. I mean, there are, but the more interesting thing was that they treat the homosexual character kind of stereotypically, in that, like, there's a baseball game in the episode that I just watched, and everyone is shocked that the guy's gonna do it, the gay man is gonna do it, because they just like never expected that of him or what have you. And that in his homosexual relationship, sorry, there's a ton of spoilers, there's like the one that they expect to play baseball, and then the one that they expect to watch. But even that character is like, I don't have an outfit for baseball, I have an outfit for watching baseball. So it's self-imposed roles. So I think they're kind of poking fun at everything. So if anything, I think that there's positive messages in that show. There's the girl in the family goes to business school and becomes really successful and gets really driven about trying to further her education, further her career. So I think that show is obviously much more positive than America's Next Top Model, which I watch as a guilty pleasure show. But it was really interesting to watch the stuff I watch normally with socialization and the messages that I'm receiving in mind. Because I know that I'm receiving messages and I can pinpoint them. But it's interesting to think, like, teen girls that are watching America's Next Top Model, for example, like, they don't realize that they're getting messages that they're actually taking them to heart. So I think there is something to be said for being able to identify when messages are coming at you.